Yes, we are here, guys. And guess what? It is the best day of the week, Wednesday, hump day. Welcome, welcome, welcome from the battle to the glory. And what does that mean? We have been through something, and guess what? We are now in the glory. And that's what it is all about. And listen, we got something special for you guys today. And listen, know this, you're going to be blessed. You're going to move in the different atmosphere. The atmosphere is about to change. Y'all know this. Before we get into everything, listen, I want to introduce our guest and then go around the panel and ask everybody how was their day. So Shelly, she's our guest for today. And guys, I want to ask you, how was your day, Shelly?
I cannot complain. My day was a little busy. It's a little earlier where I am from where you guys are. And so it's been a busy day, a little bit of work, hanging out with one of my daughters. I will not complain. It's been
Okay.
pretty good.
All right. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. So to let everybody know where you are located right now.
I am in California, sunny California, where the weather, it could be raining at 2 o'clock and thunderstorms and wind kicking up. And then at 2:03 is 80 degrees.
Right.
Oh, why you got to throw? Why you look? Hey, Rodney, why she got to throw that in our face? Somebody
Well, she must not be in Southern California because it never rains in Southern California.
We got to have some crops. So it got to just do a little something for the crops.
3 minutes.
okay.
That's it. That's all I need.
Because hey, look over here, East Coast, it's cold over here. I work early in the morning. It be freezing. I be like, oh,
I actually like the cold. I like the cold.
Yeah, that's what everybody says in California till they come to the East Coast, and they're like, "Nah, I'm going back to California. Yeah, I'm going back. Yeah."
All right, I'm not gonna say nothing.
How you doing?
I can't say nothing to that.
Oh man, listen, Lady T, how was your day?
My day was good. It was eventful and restful at the same time. So, it's been good. A good day.
Right. Rodney, what about you, big bro?
Day's good, brother. I'm just excited. My wife has started her new journey, so I'm excited for her and just trying to help encourage and be, the supportive husband that I am.
Okay. Lady T, Minister Foster said hello. She said, hey.
Hello.
You know what that is? The energy. She got that fire for God.
Miss Yolanda, yeah, she's doing this on her dad mentality.
I know that's yes, she did. I saw. Yup, she did. Yes, she did. She definitely came through. I was up there and she was like, hey, family. And so, you know what? My day was great. Listen, it's always great. Always trying to be productive, trying my best to be productive, focused. Always focused, what I'm saying? Always watching my surroundings, always thinking about the next move that God has for me. My mind and my motors are always running. And so I'm always, thinking about the next move that God want me to go in, what I'm saying? The next direction. And so I'm always focused about that. And so, other than that, family's good. The circle is still intact. Everybody still have their limbs and working and just moving and just living, what I'm saying? Living in this land with some unbelievable people, I can tell you that. And so, today's topic, man, is your closeness to walking with God in your purpose. And so, as we begin to dive into this conversation, we're going to let Shelly take us away right now. We just gonna jump in. We're gonna let you rock right now, lady. Oh man, Shelly, let us know. Come on, your closeness to walking with God in your purpose. So just give us. Let's. We in a plane right now. Take us to a altitude that we can't reach.
You know what? It's so interesting that we're speaking about closeness and purpose, because a lot of times when we look at our purpose and when we look at all of the things that we go through in order to discover and find that purpose, we don't understand that many times there's a brokenness that comes with that. And in that brokenness, instead of us running away from God, when we draw near to him, then what we find is we find a peace, we find a clarity, we find who we are, We find out who God is, not just being God, but we find out God, our Father, God, our friend, God, our comforter, God, our designer, designing who we are as people. A lot of times when we're walking through that and when we're walking through situations, there, and especially in my case, I thought that I knew and understood purpose. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that you're on the right path, because God will make those crooked ways straight for you when you are walking as you believe that he's walked. But what I found is that God will take situations and he will take circumstances that you may not deem as good or great. And he'll take that and redesign what you thought or where you thought you were supposed to be, and give you a redesigned newness, a redesigned fire, a redesigned purpose. And in that journey, your closeness begins to unfold and you begin to see God, yourself, and your purpose with new, refreshed, and renewed eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like it.
I love it too. So,
Yes.
Lacey, can you just elaborate on a little bit?
Yeah, because that's exactly what I'm going through, going through this transformation of not knowing where I'm going. My purpose has not been really fully shown to me, and I have been told to wait. And it's in my spirit, I have been told to settle and wait. And it's been a little difficult because I'm a go person. I am a hard worker. I'm about my business. I'm one of those type of people because I have that energy. I don't need I was talking to one of my friends today. I only sleep 4 or 5 hours and it feels like I slept 8 hours. And I do get a maybe 15, 20-minute nap every now and then, but I don't need a lot of rest, right? But now that life has changed for me, I have to really rest in trusting and surrendering and let God show me my purpose. And it's been challenging because when you're used to doing things a certain way, and then you have to stand still and wait and not know where you're going, what door is going to be open. I have to remind myself in my mind all the time God's love for me and how he will protect me and guide me through everything. And so it's a good feel, but it's more of like a faith-based discernment.
Yes.
You have to have faith and discern the Spirit of God in your own life to know how to listen, to know how to proceed, and to become the person that you're meant to be at whatever time. You never know what's coming to you. But, so I feel like that's what we're doing, is a faith-based discernment where we are trusting God. So, yeah, I love what you said, because that's me right now.
Yes.
Rodney, what about you?
I feel that I mean, y'all know I feel that I've really started following God and getting in my purpose probably I think around December of this year. So I really feel that I'm in the beginning. But it's to me it's really crazy how much God has already shown me in just a little time of me saying, okay, I'm going to follow what you say, Lord. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what you told me to do. He told me to quit my job. I quit my job. If I had another job, and he then took my enemies and made them my footstool in that period of time. I witnessed it. I witnessed that he that God then also, I've talked about the situation with my daughter. He made a way out of a way. I saw there was no way, and he made a way. You know what I'm saying? And now my wife has come into an opportunity that is nothing but God sent. You know what I'm saying? Where she wanted to do something, she wasn't sure how to do it, and then God just opened the doors for her. You know what I'm saying? And open the doors where all she had to do was walk right in.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity for her to start doing what she wanted to do. I'm already working in my path. I'm learning more and more about what God wants me to do in my purpose. I think I have the idea, but I'm still being, like Lady T said, patient and I want to make sure that these are the steps that he really has for me, because I thought it was one thing at one point in time, and then I found out that was just the gateway. So when I got here, that I'll be more successful because I met these people here. You know what I'm saying? And now I can see how it's all coming together. I know that I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm excited about what's coming on right now. God has just shown me so much that I'm just excited for what's next. I'm just, I really feel that I'm getting very in tune. I'm getting very in the right mindset where God wants me to be. And from where I was a few years ago, to me it's almost night and day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just patient. I'm excited about what He has next to me and what my and just I do feel that I am getting closer and closer and stronger in my walk with God, and I am definitely feel that because of that, it's spreading through my family. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? But because I decided to take the steps and do the things that God has asked me to do, now I'm starting to see blessings fall upon my family as well. So I'm just excited about what's next, man. I told my boy today. I was like, you know what? This is the first time, and I can think in a long time that I was happy to get up. You know what I'm saying? Happy to get up and happy to I'm like, I wake up, I pray with my wife, I pray by myself or do the things and I just get excited about like what's God got for me today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really working to get closer to God. I know it's still, and for me, I still feel that there's things that I have to work on and there's things that I have to get better at, but I'm just excited about what God has for me. So that's where I'm at right
Amen.
That's peace. That's peace.
now.
So in my journey right now, my closeness walking God is for me is my heart posture. God is truly working on my heart. There's nothing wrong, but it's making me stronger, making me to the place where I can endure even when there's rejection, even when there's no support from the people I love the most. But God has building me up in this season and how to just cultivate His word, not only His word but to understand it, and then when I speak to people, they receive it in love, not chastisement. They receive it in peace, they receive it in joy. What I'm saying? Because I have a lot of joy for the Lord, and not only the joy of the Lord. I always say happiness is temporary, but joy is everlasting. And when you begin to walk with God and He works on your heart and deliver you from all of your iniquities, it is so refreshing to walk with Him and know that you have a living God, not a dead God, a living God that takes you to places that no one else can go with you, just Him. And I feel like that's the closeness, is walking with Him, because when you have that intimate relationship with Him, trust me, there's a walk that nobody can walk with you but just Him. And someone has said to me, when it felt like they were asleep and God was holding them up, and they knew that it was God because they only seen two sets of footprints. And so when you know and trust God, you in the air. You in the air, right? And the only thing you see is two footprints. You don't see anything, but knowing and trusting that God is not going to drop you.
Yeah.
He's going to carry you in the midst of all of your troubles, in the midst of all of your sorrow, even in the midst of losing loved ones. God is the one that's going to take you to that place that you need to go, but you have to do the work. That's why I say faith without works is dead. And so in my journey right now is that's what God's doing to me. He's built, and I talk about this all the time about anger, disobedience, obedience, resilience, and just trying to strive to be the man that I'm supposed to be, the leader, the king, that God has called me to be in this time and in this season, and just in my journey of just finding the right place of worship, because I'm a worshiper. And so, I just don't want to say, in my own decision, say, God, this is the church I want to go to. No, I want Him to speak to me clearly and say, this is the place I want you to minister and worship in, because that's what the journey I'm in right now. I don't want to make a decision on my soul feelings and what I feel. I want him to say, listen, this is the place. Yep. And so in this journey that I'm in right now is finding that place. Finance was an issue for me. And so now I'm building a different mindset in financially, a mindset in doing my health correctly, losing weight, eating correctly, eating the right things, and still enjoy things that I want to do, but eating correctly because I have to build my temple up. And see, this is where I'm at with God right now. And he's doing just that because I want to be obedient. I want to be a faithful servant of the Lord. And so when we talk about purpose, that's my purpose, to help others. I'm walking in my purpose because guess what? God definitely brings the right people that I need to minister, as well as them ministering to me, to encourage me, as well as me encouraging them, uplifting them, and I'm there uplifting me as well. And so, that's where I'm walking at right now with God in my purpose, ministering, not only minister, encouraging, and having fun in serving God. Not saying, oh, this is hard and I can't serve God because I can't do the things that I want to. Nah, look, I enjoy doing it. I love making the sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? And so that's definitely where I'm at in my walk with God and in my purpose. And it's still things that to gather, to work at and work hard at. So my foundation is strong in my purpose. And
So, Chef, I want to say what you were saying. It reminded me of like divine timing. The opportunities of life, whatever happens, flow rather than force. And that's what I like to, be led by. It's like the divine time, and God puts whatever is supposed to be in your life at the right time, and you're not forcing it. You have a conviction that he's going to follow through and give you what you need. So you don't have to worry about comparing yourself to other people's situations. You don't have to worry about looking outside of yourself to say, well, I don't know when it's coming, but you're trusting that God's going to take care of it at the right time. And that is something that I am very convicted in, because I look back at my life and what God brought me through and how God has blessed me. And I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a gratefulness inside of me because I remember all the things that happened to me in the past. And so I know that I will be led exactly the same way. However, and it's like trusting in God that he will provide. Right now in this day and age, I feel like we are all comparing ourselves. We are all in competition, and I don't want to be in competition. We don't need to compete. There is enough room for each and every one of us at the table. We can have enough food for one another. And I really want to, be able to know and speak that to everybody, and know that tell them in their way that you can have whatever it is that you want, and learn how not to be afraid that somebody's going to steal it from you, or the enemy's coming and still kill and destroy whatever it is that you have. You have to learn how to trust. And it is a mindset thing, but it is something that is very, very real, because once you have a relationship with God, you'll see it. You'll actually see it in your life.
But you know what's so amazing about that? That is where the confidence of purpose comes in. Because when I know what I've been designed to do, when I know who I've been designed to be, then I'm in my own zone. I'm in my own lane. And so you can't do what I do. Right. Because it was not given to you to do. We can both have a restaurant. We can both have chicken and waffles. We can both have chicken, waffles, lemonade. It doesn't matter, because what God has, if I'm in my lane, my chicken has a twang that your chicken doesn't. And so that means that people coming to lick their fingers in my place, and then the ones that are coming to your place are going over there. We don't have, and then at one point we gonna put the chicken on the same plate and we gonna do something together, because God designs, he doesn't design competition, but he designs collaboration. Right. And when we collaborate as his people, then what we do is we open the door to more things. And so that is one of the beauty. That is the beauty of understanding that what God has purposed us to do, if we stay in alignment, then we don't have to. What God has given me is, I don't have to do exactly what you're talking about. I don't have to hustle. And that's what he told me. I get to trade hustle for his grace. Grace being me aligning with who he's called me to be. Just because you told me to start a business, that doesn't mean I was supposed to run out and get bricks. But what it does mean is God may have said, for the next 2 months, Shelly, I just need you to research business, and then go do some meetups. Go and do meetups. And when I do that and I go do meetups and research business, in those 2 months, God is going to align me with somebody at the meetup who needs exactly what I've been researching, and I need what they've been researching. So I didn't have to go out there and hustle and do it from scratch. No, what I had to do is allow myself to be in my lane, to align with God's grace and be obedient with the steps that he told me to take. He has already orchestrated. The footprint is there. I just have to put my foot inside of it.
Yep.
That's my job.
Yep.
I always say, God has the door for us, and we have the key to open that door. God will not just open the door and say, go ahead and walk through. We have to find the door that is matched up for us with the key, because the key that we have for our lives is just made for you. That's the destiny. That's the point that where you have to walk through it. Not I always say, I said this yesterday, we all have the same destination, but how we get there may be different. And the destination is heaven, everlasting life. And so how do we get there? Our journey is going to be different. We just think about this. All 4 of us don't wear the same size shoe because we don't walk the same. But our strides may be the same, but we don't walk the same. And so our journeys are going to be different. And God has a purpose for every person in this lifetime. And how do we find that purpose? Shelly, how did you find your purpose?
Oh, wow. I have been repurposed, y'all. And so my purpose, God has really aligned me as a speaker and to really be able to pour into women and to help them balance motherhood and business. That's where I was, and that's what I was doing. But recently, you guys, I suffered 3 strokes in one day. 3. Mm. The second stroke took my speech. So every time I opened up my mouth, I could start dancing because I could not speak from that second stroke. So you better believe, number 1, God called me to be a speaker. I'm going to be speaking. So that's number 1. Number 2, the third stroke almost took my life. I went numb on over half of my body. And so the fact that I could get up, wiggle, jiggle, praise God and raise my hand, that is a miracle in itself. But what's even greater is in that time, God repurposed me. And not to say you're not going to be a speaker, and not to say that you won't pour into women, but to really hone in and say, where I've aligned you to is to speak to the women who are my daughters. I've aligned you to speak to them so that you can help them understand that they don't have to hustle in life. So you can help them understand that as women entrepreneurs, there's a place for family, faith, and business. And you do not have to struggle for that. You just need to surrender to that. And I want you to go and let people know that, number 1, I am still God. I am that I am. That's number 1. Number 2, I am still a healer. I am still a healer. I still make miracles. I still touch bodies. I still raise folks from the dead. I joke and tell people, call me Lazarita, honey, because God done raised me up. Just call me that. And number 3, God has called me to say, stop playing. Stop playing. Who have I called you to be? What have I called you to do? That is my new purpose, my new mission, to not just pour into women, but to remind them that God is who he says he is. He's a healer, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. He's a healer.
Yeah.
And that it's time to stop playing and get in position to who he has called you to be, so that he can raise some of those dead things in your life back to life.
I love it.
Now,
you know her purpose.
Look, listen.
That's been some walking, y'all. That's been some repurposing, y'all.
Yeah.
So, hey, Shelly, the one thing that stuck out at me when you was talking was surrenderance. Yes. And so I want to stop right. I want to go right there for everybody. And I want everybody to understand is that I think that's where a lot of people struggle at at faith is the surrenderance parts, because the things that you have to give up, you know, when you like something so much, you got to give it up. And I think a lot of people in the religion, in the faith, in the spiritual realm, they get lost there, the
Oh yeah.
surrenderance. And
Oh
so
yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk about that. What does surrenderance look like for you? And Lady
Oh
T and Rodney, what does
man.
surrenderance look like for you?
So surrender for me, it's not the big things, that people look at. Oh, I need to not drink so much, or I need to not do this. I need to not. Surrender for me is literally giving up the control. I am an ABC person. I need to know A from the dot to the lowercase b to the middle b to the count. I need to know every single step. I need to know what I'm doing, when I'm doing, how I'm doing. My husband tells me all the time he can't even surprise me because I need him to give me a heads up. I'm like, you can surprise me, just tell me. I need to know how to dress. So for me, I have a plan for everything. And there's nothing wrong with a plan, but where's your flexibility for God to say, can I readjust this plan? Can I redo this plan? And so for me, I become rigid in the plan. And so surrender is me backing up and saying, here's my plan, Lord. Here's my plan for the week. Here's my plan for the day. Here's my plan for the business. Here's my plan. What's yours though? Now put your hand on top of it, because maybe this one isn't for me right now. Here's my plan to do, to do this segment or this TV, interview, whatever. But is this your plan? So surrender for me is an everyday thing, because it's turning over my to-do list every day. This is what's new for me. This is the new thing for me, because Shelly likes to do what Shelly likes to do. And if I say that I want it this way, this is the way that works, Lord. Come on in. And what God is saying is, you got it backwards. You made the plan, but I give the direction. So are you going to submit to the fact that, yes, you laid it out, but now are you going to turn it over to me to walk it out?
Lady, what about you?
Oh, I love that. I love it. Yeah, surrender for me is basically letting go and not trying to control, but have cooperation. It's more of like whatever comes, you're gonna softly in your inner spirit say, "Yes, Lord, I will do your will because it came to me. You brought this to me. I'm going to address it." And you don't have fear anymore. You go into faith. You trust that God is going to provide for you. You're not resistance. You're receptive. You allow God to, do whatever it is, because we don't know what our days are going to be like. We don't know our next hour, second, or anything. And how will we be? How will we address the situations that come to us? And so I have to learn how to just be, yes, Lord, and have the trust, the authority, the power of God within me, and knowing his word, all that I know about God for me as I walk day to day. That is a surrender to me, because I've tried to control a lot of things in my past. It didn't work out. It was real ugly. And so I learned to stop trying to control and allow, cooperation to come in. And even with this right now, like what we do here all the time, we meet people all the time. We never know who we're going to meet, what was going to be said, and I want to cooperate anyway. Whatever we're talking about, try to connect with the person to make it as a divine conversation. Like I am going to act like I have a godly conversation with each person. That is my intention, because I want to say to, show God that I am doing my best to show love, because I love you for all that you've done for me. I know that you are there in my life. I will trust you. I surrender all. And you know what? Situations that sometimes look really bad, is the best thing for us, right? You were talking about how you had 3 strokes, and that when we hear it, we hear it and we're like, whoa, your whole life changes. Your body is changed. And when you cannot speak, you cannot move, you cannot do the things that you're normally supposedly doing, you become a different person. And when you become that different person and you come out of it, you become someone that knows God. You've had knowledge through the experience of your own life. And I've gone through many situations. I haven't had a situations like yours, but I understand it because everybody has something of a situation that is somewhat looking like tragedy, or it can be something that really hurts us deeply, but we can overcome through only trusting in the surrendering with God. So that is, I believe, something we all work towards slowly. I will say slowly. The reason why sometimes now, if you have something that really hits you hard and you can get to it and say, okay, I know now, I will always know you now because of that happened in my life, right? But sometimes when we don't have anything happening in life, we have to slowly learn how to surrender and slowly learn how to trust in God. So, that's it for me. So sorry.
Rodney, what about you?
Nah, good. So for me, there's been a lot of different things I've had to surrender. In this journey as I'm going, I'm still learning more and more the things I had to surrender. But like some of the biggest things that I've said on this show is that I told God for 11 years I wasn't going to do something. You know what I'm saying? I said, nah, hey, look, I already did that. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. So for 11 years, I said, God, I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? And then finally, once I finally got to that point where I was like, all right, God, I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to do. First thing he says I got to go do is exactly what I've been telling him 11 years I wasn't going to go do. Yeah, I'm not going to do. So I said, all right, God, I'm going to do it, but I'm still not going to do this over here. The thing I've been telling you for 15 years, I ain't going to do. So, then I go do the thing I ain't did for 11 years. And then sure enough, the whole time I'm there, the thing I said I wouldn't do for 15 years is coming around. Like, hey, yo, I see you here. So let's see what we're going to do next. Now I'm doing the thing I said I wouldn't do for 15 years. So, it's just about, but with all that, the biggest thing that I had to learn for me, and I think that a lot of people struggle with, is the walk in faith. Is the fact that you have to trust him. You have to trust that God has you. And even though, because it's a lot of it is blind because you don't see how you're going to get there. It's almost like what Chef said, you're going to end up here, but you don't see how it's going to happen. You're like, well, I'm all the way over here. Somehow I'm going to get here, and I think the road is straight down here. But because you want to go down this road, you end up going over here, over there, doing this, doing that. But then when you finally trust in God, the next thing you know, the whole time you think you got to go here. And the next thing you know, once you believe in God, it comes to you. You know what I'm saying? It comes to you. Now you ain't even got to go after. You ain't got to do the road that you thought you had to do because now that you're listening to God, it's coming to you. So, it just, for me, I think that a lot of people do struggle with that faith because you don't know where you don't know how you're going to get there. Like you God's telling you go one way, and you're like, I don't see how that's going to get there. I don't see how that gets me there. Nah, why don't I just go this way? Like I said, like what you call it, but nah, you got to trust God, and when you trust him, then like I said, it seems like that door, you're looking one direction, and it turns out the door was right next to you the whole time. You just had to follow him, and then you can go right. You go right through that door, and there, everything you need is right there. So is really walking by that faith, and like I said, and also, and I still feel that that part of getting you ready is that God's going to break you from that defiance of you saying, oh, I'm not doing this, God, yeah, I know all this stuff, but I'm not going to do this. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not the person for this. I'm not the person for that. And I say it to everybody, and I still say it now, be careful what you tell God you're not going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be exactly the thing that God wants you to do. And to be honest with you, I feel like a lot of the times we're fighting against these things because that's our flesh, and we know that 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 this is uncomfortable. This is where I really have to be vulnerable. This is really where I have to get rid of all the things that I want to hold on to be able to go here. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's just how it was. It has been for me. I'm glad that I'm definitely very close to the point where I think I've gotten rid of everything. I still work on some stuff, but I definitely feel that I'm getting to the point. I've gotten to the point where I do totally trust in God, and I'm here. I'm ready to listen. I stopped telling him what I ain't going to do, and I'm here, and I'm excited about what He has for me now. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel that I'm getting up to the challenge. So I just want to continue following in Him, getting better every day. I tell my wife when I talk to her in my prayers, my goal today is just to be a better husband, better man, better father, and better steward of what God has for me. Every day, I just want to get better at it. So it's definitely a really life-changing thing. I mean, and I understand how you came through that stroke, and I mean that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? That is amazing. I know if I lost my voice, as soon as I got it back, I'm not going to not share it to know everybody going to hear what I got to say now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was a time I wasn't able to do it, and I've had my own things, and I mean that's like what I tell y'all now that I battled for years with my problems with I want to say being insecure, but that ain't it. Is my abandonment issue. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, I want other people to be aware of that. Like these things that we have and we get in our childhood can affect us later. You know what I'm saying? And but I feel like that was there for a reason. Like everything I went through my childhood is now something that I can use now. Now I can relate to other people that have these issues and have these things. And a young man who lost his father at a young age. So, I can relate and have those conversations and be in those realms and not be uncomfortable and be in those areas where, like, I feel my purpose is to help young men, especially young Black men like me, who may have went down the wrong road as a young kid, but now as an adult, I'm trying to be a great man of God. I still remember my teacher came to me. I own my own business. I'm owning my own business. I'm running my own business. My teacher came in there and said, "I can't believe you became a law-abiding citizen." I still think about that. You know what I'm saying? And those things, and I want to help people that may have had that stigmatism on them as a young age, but now they're young men who are trying to be successful, raise a family, become better men, and get away from that life that they lived before.
That was great. That was great. Well, when I look at it, I say surrenderance. I always say, in my life, there's nothing that does not happen that's supposed to happen. As I'm older now, and I'll give you an example. What I mean by that is that I was at work this regular day, and for 3 weeks I was out of work. I got arthritis in my knee. Now I'm like, I work out, I go to the gym, the whole nine, right? But the purpose of me saying this to you guys is to show you that I had these expectations that I was going to do these things, go on these trips, put my money aside. God said, no, that not in this season. And so He set me down. I was out of work for like 3 weeks. And I'm like, I never asked why. I never asked God why, because there's something that happens. There's a purpose in it happening. And so when I looked at that situation, the first thing that came to my mind, I didn't even ask God, was it feasible for me to go on those trips? Was it in His plan for me to go on those trips? Did I have the money? Yes. But guess what? I can't go on no trips on crutches. Can't walk. And so I looked at it, I said, you know what? God's saying, no, you can't, not this year. No trips for you. You know, I went to the wedding, but that was it. After that, I came home. It's like no vacation, no nothing. And so I look at it, you know, I don't want to do nothing outside of the will of God for my life. And so when things happen like that, it's not a tragedy. It happens for a purpose. And that purpose is that save my money, stack it, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's coming. You know, you never know what storm is upon myself. And so I looked at it like that. So, you know, things like that. And just about anybody, there's nothing in your life that does not happen, that does not have a purpose, whether it's good or bad. There is a purpose in everything that happened in your life. And how you look at it is that you got to take it to God and say, God, all right, what is it that I need to learn in this situation? What is the purpose of this situation that's going on in my life? What does you want me to learn in this time of the season? What is it? And so that's how I look at it, and I surrender unto that. And it's because I believe in destiny. It's already written, and I have to walk in my purpose. I have to walk in what God has for me, and willingly, I've surrendered my life. So I said, yo, there's certain things I can't do. There's certain places I can't go because of my character, my integrity, my morals, and how I'm supposed to stand for Christ. Because guess what? I do have to stand in the gap for others so they can understand what it is to serve God, so they can understand what it is to worship God. So, you know, I feel like a lot of men don't understand what worship is. You know, worship. I always say I'm a worshiper. You don't listen. You got to worship. You got to pray, not just, oh, thank you, Lord. Nah, it's more than just that, because you got to be thankful for the things that He's done for you, and show that gratitude in the world, not just at home, not just driving in your car. Let them know that they say, why is this young man always acting like that? Give them a reason to ask that question. Give them a reason to say, you know what? I see the joy that person has. And guess what? I want a part of that.
Yeah.
I want a piece of that.
Chef, I want to ask a question. I have a question for all of y'all. So when do you feel closest to God? And I was going to say worship, and I feel that that's probably for you. So I'm gonna let you answer. But it's still, my question is, when do you feel closest to God? There's, you know, many options, but I'll give stillness, worship, creating, or service, or something else. So go ahead, Chef.
That what, like you said, Lady T, definitely it's the worship. Because guess what? Why it's the worship for me is because guess what? Not only God is touching my heart in my worship, there is somebody that's broken that can see my worship, and they begin to feel some type, and that's the joy that is coming out of me, and they say, wow. And they begin, and you ever seen somebody, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm worshiping and I begin to cry, and guess what? Somebody's looking at me. They not looking at me because I'm sad. They looking at me because they know I'm worshiping God. They know that God has done something for me great. And I'm worshiping, and they begin to worship. They begin to cry out. They begin to open up their heart, because that worship, that music, whatever it is, they begin to pray out to God because they want something, and they may have lost something. And that's just me. I'm big on that. I'm big on worship because I worship every day. And I want people to understand what it does to you. Just get in your car, get somewhere, and just begin to worship. Get you some music and worship.
Shelly, what about you? Anything?
Yes, really, I feel closest to God really in the day-to-day things. And what I mean by that is I feel close to God when I'm just driving down the street, and and I see someone who may be homeless, and I have an opportunity to pray for them, and I feel God's presence. I feel close to God. Lately I've just been waking up and just feeling God in the bed with me, and I just wake up in the morning just being like, I'm so in love with you. I just love you so much. I love you so much. So for me, feeling closest to Him is not just an experience, a certain experience, or I feel close in worship, or I feel close in brokenness. I really love the fact that I can just get up, or I can just decide I'm gonna watch a little TV, or I want to just read a chapter, or I can just go outside and look at how the leaves on the tree is moving, and I get a chance to feel your majesty and to feel your handprint, to see your artwork, and so I feel good when I'm driving in the car, and I recognize and realize the only reason that I'm in a straight line is because your hand is on my body. And now, I really get excited because I know that in a matter of a second, if you're not holding my mind, if you're not holding my body, the way I move, I'll veer off the road, or somebody else will veer off. So I recognize his majesty in the little things, and I love just feeling God in my everyday, and just menial tasks, washing dishes, putting something in the oven, washing clothes, when a song just jumps on you, because you just find that I'm in love with God, and I am so humbled by the fact that he's in love with me. If I was the only person in this world, God would be in love with me.
Rodney?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be prayer. I mean, I pray a lot. I pray throughout the day. I pray at night. Every time I wake up, I start praying. Every time, because I've had a problem with sleeping, and my brain just starts going. And I've learned that the only way I sleep now is every time I wake up, I start praying. Every time, and it gives me that comfort to go back to sleep. Like before, I mean, I could not sleep. You know what I'm saying? So for me, but now because of that, I feel like I've been talking to God for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like even in my childhood and growing up, I remember praying. I remember having conversations with God, even throughout the things that I was going through. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. I feel like I've always had that open conversation with God. And so for me, I pray a lot. I pray in the car. I pray on my way, going places, coming back. Just whenever when I'm by myself, if I feel a moment of silence, I'll start talking to God. And then especially also, and it kind of goes with both what Chef Dennis and Miss Shelley said, that it's like, when I see God's beauty, and like when I wake up in the morning, the sun just comes up, and I see the beauty. Over the weekend, I went to the beach with my wife, and I woke up because I can't sleep. I woke up and I went out there. I wanted to see the sunrise, and I just prayed, and I just thanked him and marveled at the beauty that he created around me. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. I told you when I went to Indonesia, I was crying out there watching the sunrise. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just so struck by how beautiful God has made this world and everything. And the fact that this ocean just comes up and stays right here. It doesn't overwhelm the whole place. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that all these things happen, and just the beauty and all that kind of, all those things. Like, I right now I'm just super excited. I'm super excited about everything. I thank God for my wife every time I see her. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for everything that he's given me and things like that. I'm trying to be a better worshiper. I'm not gonna lie, I really try. I just don't get it. It just don't move me that way. But because I'm in church, and I just don't, like my wife, she's all about worship, and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, I just don't feel it. I've been at home and I've been praying and I listen to music and I felt it. But I just don't understand. I want to so bad. Like it's like I'm sitting in there and I'm like, I want to do all this stuff too, but I just don't understand why I can't do it. I don't, and to me it's kind of crazy. But I mean, it's sad to be jealous when you're in church watching the other people like really getting into praise and worship, and I don't understand why, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But that's just me giving y'all a little something anyway. I've mentioned it before to Chef Dennis anyway. But but it's just a prayer. For me, it's prayer. That's when I feel the closest to God. I feel like, I talk to him daily. I talk to him more than daily. I talk to him several times throughout the day. And it just gives me that peace and things like that for the things that I need. So for me, it's definitely that closeness that I feel with God is in prayer. So.
Love prayer. Love it. And worship. I love it all.
Yeah.
So Lady T, you started this up. If you had Shelly, Lady T, Rodney, if you had one word to pick out to describe Jesus, what would it be?
Mm.
One word. Just one word.
Ooh.
I know what my one word is. I just want to use a better word because I'm like, I know it's what it is, but I'm like, isn't there something else I could say? So I'm gonna say, I'll go first. Okay. I'm gonna say Jesus is love. Like he showed love in everything that he did. I mean, love is like patient, kind, compassionate, empathetic. Like, everything about Jesus was so humble. It was like you knew him as someone else because he wasn't like mean or anything. Like, I don't know. It's just love. That's what I can think of, how he wanted us to forgive so many times in one day. These things are loving, and so I, can't think of anything else. So that's what I say. I wish I could come up with a better word. Sorry.
Shelly, what about you?
Man, this is hard. This is hard because I think before my situation, I probably would have said love because you are, but I think now I think I have to go with powerful. I laid in a bed where God reversed death. And I mean that literally. I laid in an ER bed where I literally felt life draining from my body. The very life began to leave my body, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I was about to leave this earth. And in a blink of an eye, God reversed it. He reversed it. Death had no sting. There was no victory at all.
Mm-hmm.
None. Because God said so. And so only an almighty, only a powerful God can do that, can stop death in its tracks and say no. So I'll have to go with powerful. You just powerful.
I love that.
I love it too. Rodney, what about you?
For me, it'd be comforter. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember so many times in my childhood where he comforted me in times of turmoil, what you call it. And the biggest thing, he's still my comforter now. I have terrible anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with y'all, right now, I'm at the most calm that I've ever been in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, my anxiety was huge. Y'all know I don't drink like I used to. I used to drink to cover up that anxiety. You know what I'm saying? I used to do these things to cover up the anxiety. Now, instead of those things, now God is the thing that comforts me. God is the thing that makes me, and like we said earlier, the biggest problem was for me is not knowing where I was going. I usually would have, like right now, I usually would be going nuts with anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, how I'm gonna make it through this, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do, blah, 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 how I'm gonna pay this bill. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you, that now that he came through for my daughter, man, I ain't worried about no bill. That bill bother me? Not at all. Not at all. Right. I ain't scared of that. When I was able to pay my daughter's college, I was like, man, I'm done. I ain't worried about. Yeah, I'm done, but I was like, man, shoot, if he can do this, I ain't got to worry about these. What am I worried about Pepco for? You know what I'm saying? That he'll get paid when they get paid. You know what I'm saying? But I used to suffer hugely from anxiety and things like that. I think that was like the biggest thing for me, even with my abandonment issue. That it's just anxiety. I'm worried about what's going to happen in the future so much. You know what I'm saying? My wife leaves the house. I'm worried if she's going to come back. You know what I'm saying? And God is my comforter, that he's helped me with all that anxiety and all those things where I don't have to drink myself to death in order not to calm the anxiety anymore. So, I'm so thankful for that. So there you go.
Wait, Chef, before you say what you're going to say, let me say this. Let me just add this. The reason why I chose love for myself, because I don't think I said this, is because he has loved me when everybody else has shown me ugliness. And they've been hurtful to me. They stabbed me in the back. I have been loved so much by Jesus that it keeps me sane. It keeps me feeling like the comfort you talk about, Rodney. Like I've been like misused and abused by people even close. And it hurts. It hurts. But Jesus's love has been something that has put me in a place to be even closer to him, getting closer to God, like in my daily walk. So that's why I chose love for myself. Okay. Sorry, Chef. Go ahead.
Love that.
Man, listen, when y'all was talking, I was trying to hold back my tears because what I'm about to say is it just brings tears to my eyes. His mercy.
Oh, yes.
His mercy. Even when I'm not doing what he tells me to do, his mercy. Even when I'm not obedient, his mercy. Even when oh my goodness, you don't understand where I've been. Even when I wasn't doing the things that he called me to do, his mercy. Even when I was in car accidents, head-on collisions, his mercy. My life could have been taken. His mercy.
Yeah.
Not just for me, his mercy for the world, his mercy for the sinner. We are all sinners, but his mercy is so profound. And so I stand firm in that. His mercy for us. That's why I was just being obedient, and I asked you guys that because not to say mine is greater than anyone's, but it stays right there with me because guess what? I did not always want to serve God, but I had a calling on my life. I didn't run from the calling, but I didn't always come beckon to when he said, "This is what I want you to do right now." I didn't do that. I understood I had a calling on my life. He stayed with me. His mercy always showed up in my life because guess what? I'm hanging out with friends. I'm hanging out with drug dealers. I'm hanging out with everything, right? And you know what always stayed with me? Lady T, I said this before. I think Rodney heard this before. It always was this. I'm out in the club. Yo, what you doing here, church boy? The women said it. What you doing here? You don't belong here. I'm out there partying, I'm drinking. I ain't do no drugs, but I'm just drinking. I'm going in. And they like, yo, you don't belong here. Like they whispering in my ear, you say you're a man of God, you don't belong here. So it stayed with me. And his mercy, because guess what? There's some things I've done in my life. Guess what? His mercy. I could be probably in prison or dead. But his mercy. And so that's the word that for me that stuck out is mercy. Because guess what? When I not just look at my life, I look at some of the corrupt and cruel things that's going on in the world. And God says, I still have mercy. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough.
All right, Lady T, the chef might be cooking today, Lady T. I kind of like this chef.
Yeah,
he might be cooking today. We might have to be easy on it. So I'll be sitting here waiting for him to say the wrong thing, but today he good. He in the pocket today, Lady T. I'm proud of him.
No, but I'm gonna tell you something. No, Lady T and Rod. No. I want to say this from my heart. No, I love you, and it's not a show. This is for real. You know, I'm gonna tell you why, Ronnie. Even though you joke, you corrected me in your joking way, because guess what? And I say this with love. You corrected me because guess what? I have to stay focused and stay on task. Sometimes I do wear off and be on some bull crap. I'm gonna keep it real with you. So I thank you because guess what? No, I'm serious. You keep me.
I'm laughing at Lady T. I think you made her more happy than you made me. Go ahead.
You keep me, and Shelly, I know you Shelly, like what they talking about?
We having a moment real quick. Don't worry, because Chef Dennis he be spouting some crazy stuff every once in a while. Every once in a while he jump out there. We be like, what?
I do. I'm admit it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll be off task, I'll be and Rodney, comes on here and he correct me. He don't say it publicly, but with the way he do it and how
Well,
he
I do
do
say it publicly sometimes.
no, I'm saying I know what it is, but nobody else don't really know. And so I'm saying this now because guess what? It keeps me rooted. Like I said, it keeps me grounded, but also focused at what the message is supposed to be conveyed to the people. You know what I'm saying? And so, I just want to thank you because you know what? You helped me as well as the listeners. They be like, yeah, Roddy, you on Chef Dennis' head, and they tell me they be like, you on my head. I be like, oh, okay. Let me get in line.
That's
Let me
why
get in
you're
tune
here.
up. You know what I'm saying? and I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It helps me stay focused and structured. There is a structure in serving God. Some people don't understand what that means. Guess what? There is a straight and narrow how we supposed to be. But in that straight and narrow, that doesn't mean that it's not obstacles in that straight and narrow. It is obstacles in that straight and narrow that God requires us to walk in. He didn't say, "Oh, this is straight and narrow, and there's nothing on this road for you to walk on." No,
it says that if you are walking in Him, the devil's going to tempt you. It's not, it's not you who walk through the valley of easiness, the shadow of easiness. Sorry, you know what I'm saying?
He
So
on that road. He on that road.
Yeah. So but the thing about it is that the devil ain't tempting you or what you call it, then you must be walking with him. You know what I'm saying? If he not there trying to put things in your way and trying to distract you and trying to get you to go left when God is telling you to go right. If those things ain't happening, but that's part of he even tried to tempt Jesus. So, it ain't like he gonna stop not try to tempt you.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, on that straight and narrow, know this: that snake is on that straight and narrow. He's slithering on that straight and narrow. How he could trap you? How he could set a trap? He did. That's what he want to do. He want to set a trap for you, and how he does it is all up to you. The things that come out your mouth can be like poison. You got to understand that because guess what? The devil to our soul cannot read your mind. You have to speak things, and he has to watch you. And in his watching you, he know how to set a trap for you. And Roddy, you was right on the money right there. Is guess what? That's what he does. That's what he want to do.
So let me say this. You're right with everything y'all saying because I am trying to change the way I speak. I don't talk about people talk bad about people, but I call them names. You know what I mean? I call them. I got a problem with calling people names.
I ain't gonna talk about you, but you stupid.
Okay. You know what I'm saying. Okay.
Talk about it.
So that's something God's working on with me because I am really trying not to be that way, but I got it bad sometimes. And I see myself as I know I'm not trying to offend them, but they could be offended if they ever knew. I'll call a female heifer anytime, especially when we close. Oh, that heifer did, and some women don't like that. And it's not in a way where I'm trying to be mean. It's just because I grew up with that way.
It's been normalized in your life.
It's
the same thing. Like I talked about alcohol was normalized in my house, and I was saying the same thing. I got you though, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Lady T.
No, it's just that's it. And I look at it now as the women. I don't want women to feel that I'm speaking badly about them. So I have to change. And I'm trying to do it even with my closest friends that I've been doing this for years with, and it's taking time because
some of your friends thought their name was Heifer.
Yeah. And the other words too. Yes. So they, and we that's how we talk. It's just like saying the N-word, right? Yeah. We always had that way of communicating in certain communities, but you knew when you didn't say it, or that was our way of affection, and it's not cool anymore. So I'm trying to change my life, and God's working on me on that, y'all. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Good over here with you?
No, yeah, I'm all right.
All right.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process. But the wonderful thing is when God opens up our eyes to things and we can surrender to that thing, and we can decide, I'm going to sacrifice self so that I can position myself to have power in Christ. Yeah. Because you don't know who's watching. You'll never know the people who are looking at you. You'll never know the lives that you change. You'll never know the lives that you hinder when you don't decide, I'm going to be a living sacrifice. That's what the word, it said, it's your reasonable service. That's the least you could do. Since I went on and I was the physical sacrifice, the actual one who died, the least you could do is be the living example of what I did on Christ, which was die to self. Jesus didn't want to have, he didn't want all that pain. He didn't want that. He said, oh, if there's any way that this could pass over me, let's talk about this. Yeah. But he said, I'm willing to do the sacrifice and surrender. And so your reasonable service is to be the living sacrifice to the physical sacrifice that I've done. And that's us being able to surrender to those things that are dead in our life. And that includes how we speak. I remember being a teenager and I was a person who just cussed up a storm. I knew not to do it at home because that was not permitted at home. But I cussed so much, and not out of disrespect, just because that's just the way I spoke. Yeah. And so I did it so much, I had to be so careful at home. I could barely have conversations at home because I was always using profanity. And I remember listening to someone who I looked up to, an adult, who told, who professed Christ all of the time, y'all. Jesus, 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 Jesus. And I was in the car with her one day and she just cuss. And I was just like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. I was an offended teenage child who was every day doing the exact same thing. But because I saw her in a certain way, when I heard her, it put a mirror up to me. And at that point, I said, is that how I sound? Even as a teenager, I said, is this how I sound when I tell friends, that I'm a Christian? We throw that out when we're young and raised in a Christian home, not even understanding relationship. But still, it was enough for me to be like, is this what I sound like when I tell people that I'm a Christian? When I tell people that I'm from a Christian home, do I sound like this? And do they look at me the way I'm looking at her? And from that moment, I began to understand that that God can position me for power, and people can look at me and they can go, oh, I see Christ in you. Or they can look at me and say, oh, I never want Christ because of you. And I never wanted to be that person. And so from that time as a teenager, I told God, change my mouth, change my tongue. Help me to help profanity to hurt my ear. And literally that's what happened. I had to start slow. And so, I began substituting words, so that I could make sure, oh yeah, I want to cuss you out. Please believe I want to, but let me substitute words. And I couldn't listen to certain music anymore. I couldn't watch certain things anymore. That's the way I am to this day. I can't watch certain things because profanity literally hurts my ears. But I thank God so much for that, because I have been an example to other people, because we walk around and we wear shirts with pride that say, I'm saved, but I cuss a little. I don't take pride in things like that.
That's what they got out there.
I feel like what we're doing is we're saying, I'm not saying we're not human, because don't get me wrong. You catch somebody on that wrong day. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I shouldn't glorify what the world glorifies and then stamp Jesus on it and go, oh, I'm saved, but I cuss a little. No, you ought to be sanctified and be a living sacrifice. Be a living sacrifice. And the sacrifice is, it's a good thing that I'm saved and I want to cuss a little, but I won't, because I'm sanctified. That's what we should be letting the world know, that I'm separated from who you are. So when you see me, even if I did cuss you out last Tuesday, it took a long time for me to get there. It ought to be something that separates where people go, oh, okay, you really must have made her mad, because that just ain't her. What's separating us from the world to where we're not, looking like them, walking like them, talking like them, and putting a Jesus patch on? That ain't what God has called us to do. I'm not saying that we don't do things in progress. We have to progress. But the question is, are you progressing? And are you willing to be the living example to the physical death that Christ already did on the cross. He nailed it to the cross. Why do you keep trying to unnail it?
It's because I got anger issues, Shelly.
Okay, you know
I'm a
about it,
peaker,
though. You
okay?
know it, though.
I'm
You
cutting
know
ears off.
But you know about it. You see what I'm saying?
God's working on me, okay?
And you working on it. You're not walking around talking about, I'm a pop you, but I'm saved.
Oh,
Even if you feel like it. Even if you feel like
not doing that one.
I'm gonna punch you with the fist of Christ.
Right.
Man. Listen, Shelly, I'm right with you. Like, and it's not, and I was loving every bit what you were saying, because you know what, that's me right there. That was
Shelly said it way better than you be saying it.
No,
I'm gonna let you know that now. I'm gonna let you know that right now. She said it.
Rodney. Here go Rodney, y'all.
Way better.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying? Because you, Chef Dennis, be like, it's the straight and narrow and nothing else. No, you can't do nothing. I'm like, man, we all sinners, though. We're all human. He's like, no, perfection now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Rodney, run a lap. Like, every time I do something, you know what I'm saying? So, it's all good, though.
Listen, what she was saying is that, yo, man, when I'm talking to somebody and all that come out their mouth is curse this, curse that, I'll be like, oh, man, I can't. It hurt my ears too. I'll be like, I'm out of here.
I can't do it.
I'm out of here.
Yes. I have to stop the conversation. I've literally had to stop conversations with people and be like, really, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't even hear you. And I can't hear you because I can't decipher what it is you're trying to say.
And it's not, and that's not even, for the ones that's like listening, it's not even about, like you said, like I'm so serious. Like that's why I was like loving every bit of it, because what burns me up is that my love for God is that somebody will be talking about God and then they'll come right behind God and use profanity. What you talking about? What we doing? What we doing here? That's me. I'm just a one vessel, okay? One vessel that I just use it, and it burns me up. I'm like, yo, you talking about God, Almighty, and then you come back and say MF or it's.
Yeah.
I'll be like, wait a minute. Well, what we doing?
Yeah.
Do you know God don't require you to speak like that? You can have a conversation and you got to use that language. I'll be like, I really don't want to be honest with you. To be honest with you, just because Ronnie about to get on my case. But
I'm not. I was about to agree with you, but mine isn't cursing. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm with for me, it's lust. Like when I'm with a dude and then all of a sudden, we're having a conversation, he stops the conversation to look at a woman or something like that. That joint throws me completely off, dog. I'm just like, I'm like, come on, like that joint, like, I mean, because cursing isn't my thing, and I think it's more of like if that isn't your issue, like I don't know why, but it always bothers me. If I'm standing there, you call yourself man of God, next thing you know, you want to stop the comment on some woman. You know what I'm saying? That joint throws me completely. I just stopped listening to you. Like I can't even hang around you anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, but I get what I'm just trying to get what you're saying, because that cursing nobody, I hear that all day. You know what I'm saying? I work and Chef, I know you work at a way better kitchen than I've been working in all my life. But all the kitchens I worked in all my life, it was curse words flying every 2 seconds about everything. Every time that ticket printer went off, there was curse words coming out. So to me, I don't even hear it anymore. But
Rodney,
go ahead.
But check this out though. I guarantee you, if Jesus was to present himself to you, right? People wouldn't talk like that. Because now they see his presence, and so now they wouldn't be. But because they don't see him, they like, you know what? God's gonna accept me for what I am. He gonna meet me where I'm at. No, listen, like Shelly said, it's more than just that. It's the sanctification. That's where it comes in at. I mean, then you be mindful of the things you say, how you say. I'm always mindful.
No, I'm not talking about myself.
No, I know. No.
Okay.
It wasn't directly to you. I was just reiterating. Sometimes, I told you before, when I speak to somebody at my job the wrong way, and they be like, "Wait a minute, you a man of God? You talking like that?" Now I don't curse. You got to get me like to 2,000 for me to even use that type of language, and it ain't easy to get me there because I'll be like, I brush stuff off, I cut people off. I'll be like, all right, you know what? That's it. If you gonna be negative, get out of here. I don't want no negativity in my life. Period. So I what do you say? What did they say? I get the scissors, snip, snip, snip. That's it. And if they meant to be in my life, guess what? They'll come back around. But other than that, I cut them off. I ain't got time for all that.
All right. We got baby steps, Lady T. At least this time he said if they were meant to be in my life, they'll come back around.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Keep going back around it.
Baby steps. We get there. Hey, there was a time, Shelly. There was a time where he said, I don't care. He said, I don't care. They will not be in my life. I was like, hold on, but what if God calls you? Nah, God wouldn't do that. Oh, hold on, don't tell me what God wouldn't do.
You gotta come at
me,
you know
right what I'm saying? So there you go. So,
you gotta come.
I like it though.
It's progression, Rodney.
Yeah, there we go. I like it. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? I need to hit a round of applause for that. There we go. He on point today.
I'm vulnerable, I'm open, but when it's time for me to be corrected, I want the right people to correct me. You know what I'm saying? In the right spirit, in the right mindset. And so this is the place, you know what I'm saying? I got two people on here that's powerful, that's always, that's vulnerable, but raw and telling the truth. And if I'm not saying something that correctly, they hear that like, yo, hold up, Chef. I ain't feeling that. Now I got to go back when we get off the stage. I got to go back and say, wait a minute, they said they not feeling that. What am I saying wrong? How am I bringing the message? Is it something that I'm saying wrong? I'm always checking myself because I want to make sure when I go to the next level that I'm correct in everything that I'm doing. If I make a mistake, I go back and say I made a mistake. I'm sorry because I missed something. I misinterpreted something.
Well, you cooking today. I'm gonna let you know that. Yeah, just like I say something when you're doing bad today, you cooking, brother. I'm proud. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy. But I do want to, because I know you be cutting off, and I don't get to ask my questions to Miss Shelley about. I want to know because she got speaker, author, and life strategist in here. So I need to know about each and every one of them, and so. First, I want to know about author because I'm really trying to expand my reading and be about especially things that are God, about God and their purpose and things like that. So, author, you got a book out that we need to be knowing about, or what's going on?
Yes. I have several books. My very first book I wrote, I want to say 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Well, actually not quite 10 years ago, but almost 10 years ago. And it's called 70 Days of Happy. Life is Better When You Smile. And that book actually came from just a challenge that I was doing. Someone did a challenge on Facebook and said, I challenge you guys to do 90 days of just speaking life. And not so much of not acknowledging when bad things happen or when negative things happen, but really just being intentional about saying, okay, this happened. It's not good. I don't like it. But now how can I turn this thing around and not let it settle in me? And so I'm generally a pretty happy person. I'm pretty chill. But I found that when I did that 90-day challenge, it was even better. I'm like, there's so many things that I really let, rub off of me. There's so many things that I'm like, I'm not going to even address that. And so I felt like, you know what? I want to put this into a book. I really want to put that experience into a book. And I turned it into a 70-day journal of just how to be happy and go back to regular happiness of just waking up and saying thank you, which is the first chapter. The chapters are only about a page or a page and a half because it's for you to read every day. And so just waking up and just smiling and understanding how a smile changes you and changes other people, understanding how forgiveness, there's a chapter in there, which is pretty much almost everyone's favorite chapter. When I talked about how I had to forgive my father, I was trapped inside of an open cage because I had a father who was not there and who ended up becoming a lot of internal issues for me, who brought on abandonment issues, self-esteem issues, me trying to chase love, but how you chase what you don't understand. And so all of these different things, I blamed him for relationship problems and just all of that. And the man was dead. It's like, what are you gonna do now? And so the whole thing was, at this point, I found myself driving down the street, angry, crying. By this time, I'm married with children, and I'm driving down the street, literally screaming to the top of my lungs, wondering what nut is yelling. And the nut was me. And I literally was broken. And I had to yell out at that moment, I forgive you. And I began going down a list of all of these people that I forgave. And with tears in my eyes, I don't even know how I got home that day because I was crying so much. But I began to release, not them, but release me. Release me from the clutches of holding them responsible for my happy. And for out of the entire book, that seems to be the chapter that everyone loves most, because I had to learn how to forgive someone that I probably deemed unforgivable. But at what cost? My joy, my peace, my purpose, hearing God, all of that was trapped inside of the hurt that I wasn't willing to let go of. And so that's what that book is about. It's a journey of being able to get that power back of owning your own happy in a matter of just 70 days. And so yeah, that was my first book. And so I've written a couple of collaborative books after that, and a quote book, because I used to do quotes on Facebook, and people began asking me, where are you getting these quotes from? Where are you getting these quotes from? And I'm just like, just waking up, looking at the sky. I don't know. And so I took those quotes and put them into a quote book. And yes. And so now I plan to write another book about my experience and how God raised me from death physically to life again. Yes, so I'm excited.
Where's that? Who can they find that book at?
On my website, and my website is my name, Shelly Mache, and Mache is MECHETTE. So it's ShellyMache.com. And you can also find it on Amazon. 70 Days of Happy. Life is better when you smile.
All right.
I got
that, Rodney? You got that,
I
Rodney?
got it. Yes, sir.
And let's definitely I see you got a green screen. What's that in the back of it?
See, Shelly Mache.
Oh, that's okay.
Shelly Mache.
Watch out now! Watch out now! Yeah,
I like it.
Listen. It definitely was a great time, great conversation, man. Yeah. Lady, you got any questions for her?
No, I think. Oh well, life strategist. Can you tell us about that? That's what I don't think I've heard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a mom life strategist. And so, like I said, before I ended up being redirected by God recently, I was a mom life strategist. And I brought moms together for events every month, helping them to balance motherhood and business. And so when God redirected me, the mom of that was taken off, and God redirected me to say, you are life. He is life. And what he gives me is life to be able to pour into his daughters, so he's using me as a vessel to be able to show his daughters how to become successful and walk in faith, to be able to nurture their family and build a business without using the world system of hustle, but his design for grace. And when you know grace, you know life.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Okay. What is it called? Your business?
The Powerful Woman.
I love that.
Yeah. She definitely loves that.
And it'll be all on your website, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Shelly, I want to ask you a question. The question I want to ask you is how can you tell the viewers and people how important it is to, when you're dealing with business as a believer, how important it is to try your best to deal with other believers that's doing business, the divine connection, why it's important to do business with other believers, that divine connection is definitely coming from God. Why do you think that's important? How would you explain it?
I want to address that you just hit a nail on the head. We're talking about divine connection. And so when we're able to have be like-minded, then we're able to really open up the door for a business that is God led. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say that, I'm saved and I should never connect with somebody who's unsaved, because we could have a business mind. But when you're talking about taking something into another divine level, the word says that it's good for man to walk with somebody, because when one falls, the other one can pick you up. Well, you can't pick me up in a way that I need to be picked up if you're not hearing from the one that I'm hearing from. If you're hearing from the enemy and I'm hearing from the divine, then we're going to be clashing a lot. We may not be able to hear one another a lot. And again, it's not to say that I can't bring that to the table if that's what God has called me to do. But there is something special about when two are aligned, when two agree, when two, what does it say? The Bible says that one could bring 1,000 to flight, but two could bring 10,000. Why wouldn't I want 9,000 more? Why wouldn't I want 9,000 more? I want some more. I want more angels standing in there. I want more of God's protection. I want more of God's leading. And if I can connect with someone who is also a believer, we have the exact same idea and ideology that we want God's hand in the midst of this. Again, we're not chasing the world's success. This is where we need to learn to separate. Yeah. We're not chasing the world's success. We're standing for God's purpose. The world may look at my business and say, oh, you don't have the, you're not a multi-dollar making business. You don't have this. And so you're not successful. Yet my business has saved 20, 30, 40 lives. And 20 women have come and said, I didn't commit suicide because of you. Baby, that's worth more than your millions could ever be worth. That's and right. When we connect and align with another believer, that's the type of power we put out. We put out an anointing over each and every event when we align together. We put out an anointing on a podcast that the ears that are supposed to be here will pick this up. We put out prayer. We cover people in a way that when I'm doing this by myself and just me and the Lord, it's wonderful and it can be done, but God gives me another level of power when I'm able to add another believer to it.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
I love it.
Yes.
Rodney, you got anything else for us, brother?
Nah, I love it. I love it. She actually got me thinking now. Oh. You know what I'm saying?
We thinking now.
Yeah. So, if Shelly, if you don't know, you can also follow Dad Mentality was Dad_mentality as
on
well.
All platforms.
All platforms.
Yes.
You guys check it out. And then of course usually we here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 6:30. Guys, hit the like button, share, and be encouraged. I want people to understand this is a platform where we like to encourage people, help them, on their journey, even in their brokenness. We like to have conversations where we can guide people in the right direction, not just for our glory, but God's glory. Because some people get on platforms and they just do it for fame. We don't do it here for fame. We do it for God. We are growing each and every day, and we want you to grow in the love of God. And so as I begin to leave here with you guys, I want you to understand that God loves you, but not only loves you, his mercy, his grace is everlasting. His love is everlasting. And so, if you don't have a place of worship, if you don't know what it is to worship, find out. That's a journey. Not only a journey, it's going to, help you on your walk. It's going to help you get the intimate relationship with God that you do need. We all need it. And I want everybody to be encouraged and know that we love you. Peace, and we see you next week. Oh, bye. Hold on. Wait, my bad. Shelly, do you have anything you want to say to add?
No, I think you said it. This has been a wonderful time, an amazing time. And I just want the listeners to know that God has something for you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. I don't care what your past is. I don't care that the devil is bombarding you every single night and trying to tell you that you're not worthy. Silence him. Silence him with your praise. Silence him with the scripture. Silence him with your worship. God has called you, and now is the time. Now is the time of salvation. Tomorrow is not promised to you. And here's something else. Tonight's not promised. In fact, your next breath is not promised. God is calling us now to walk in the way that he has called us to walk. There's a saying, and it says, and I can't remember who says it, but it says the grave is the richest place because that's where all dreams go to die. Don't make the grave richer. Determine today that the grave will not be richer because of you, and you will leave this life completely empty because you've used every gift and every talent and every purpose that God has designed. You've used it all.
Yes. And you guys hear that from Shelly, and you know this. Be blessed.
Make sure you clip that, Chef.
Yeah, I am. I got you. Guys, I'll see you guys next week. Be blessed. All right, hold on, Shelly. Right. Oh, man.